Hello, welcome back to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University. And welcome back to 10 at 10, episode 143. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Grow West, the Technology Council of West Kentucky, KY Innovation, and local partner Sprocket Innovation in Paducah and the Kentucky Innovation Station in Madisonville. As I said, it is episode 143, which means that we're going to look at some headlines. But before we do that, I would not be doing my job if I didn't mention that this month is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And every October, we want to pay an extra bit of attention to cybersecurity and help raise the awareness of the importance of cybersecurity. I will probably do that in a variety of ways this month, so be on the lookout for that. But you watching this is a great way to start of making sure that we know what's going on and know ways that we can protect ourselves. So with that, let me get into it. We'll see how many articles I can get through today. First of all, there's a new rule that has gone into effect that, no, I take that back. It has not gone into effect yet. It has been published to get feedback. The proposed rule would set government-wide cyber standards for contracts involving federal information systems. If you're a company that does work with the federal government, a couple years ago, the White House put out a cybersecurity strategy. This rule is setting a minimum standard, as was encouraged by that executive order, that cybersecurity strategy a couple years ago, maybe last year. It all runs together now. Bottom line is, to me, is that if you're a company that does work with the federal government and you're not meeting the minimum cybersecurity standards, you better start soon, because it's going to become more and more important that the federal government does their due diligence to make sure that you're doing what you need to do before they enter into a contract with you. Another thing that I thought was interesting, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but there's two types of opinions that people often have. One is that my small business is not important enough for a hacker to try to attack. So why would anybody want to attack us? First of all, you're wrong. But second is, I always talk about it. Every organization, every group in this world is hackable. Everybody can be broken into. It's just a matter of how much time, how much money, and how much you have in resources to launch that attack. And there's a couple stories over the last week. This one was from October 3rd. There's another one from a few days earlier that I'll show next. NATO is investigating a breach and a leak of internal documents. NATO. If NATO can be breached, can you be breached? Yeah, probably. Along those same lines, there is cyber attacks hit military parliament websites as India-based group targets Canada. If federal government websites can be hacked, if federal government sites, military groups can be attacked, yes, it can happen to anybody. Going back to my original point, yes, they're targeting you as well. The fact is, to hack NATO, it's going to take a whole lot more effort, much harder to attack NATO than it will be to attack you. So, yeah, they're going to attack you, but they also, with enough time, with enough resources, with enough money, even NATO can be hacked as well. And so NATO is investigating a breach, and it might have been an internal threat. It doesn't necessarily mean it's an external person. A lot of times, breaches are caused by the insider. So we'll see where that goes. There's a group that just came out with some results. They came out with a new study, and there's a number of things that comes out. The State of Cyber Defense Report 2023, Detection and Response Maturity Model. And there's really one thing that I want to highlight here, and I want to highlight it by talking to you about your organization. It found that 91% of businesses overestimate their cyber maturity, increasing their vulnerability to cyber attacks. 91% of businesses think they're safer and more mature in their cyber posture, cybersecurity protections than they actually are. I don't know which is more dangerous. Actually, I might have an opinion. Is it more dangerous to do nothing, or is it more dangerous to think that you've done everything? In reality, you haven't. First of all, you should do something. There's some very basic standards and best practices that you should implement. But on that flip side, if you think you're safe, if you think you're doing the things that you should do, and you really haven't, then that's a concern. That false sense of security is a real challenge that I do think that a lot of businesses have and face. So be careful to make sure that if you're assessing, which it means 9 out of 10 of you listening to this are overestimating how secure you are, overestimating your cyber maturity. So I'd say you listening need to reassess how secure your organization is. You may not be as secure. You may not be as mature in your cybersecurity posture as you think you are. That's all I'm saying. All right. Finally, well, not finally. We got a couple more that I think we might be able to get to. First of all, Dark Beam leaks billions of email and password combinations. Now, what does all that mean? I always harp on, you have to have a unique username and password for every account that you have. So here's an example of that. So you may use your username may be your email address, which it is often, and you have a password. Well, here are billions of combinations that have been released. And really, all they have to do is package it and send it, and they can use every possible combination on an attack. So if you are reusing username and passwords, or you have not reset your password after being notified that you're part of a data breach, it's out there, and now they can use that to launch against other passwords and other accounts that you have. It's something to be concerned about for sure. All right. Another piece for you to think about. Elon Musk, Twitter, X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. There's a new study that came out. And I mean, at this point, we should all assume that anything you read on social media may or may not be true. But anyway, there's a new report that was released recently that looked at social media and found that Twitter, now X, is putting out more incorrect information, more disinformation, spreads more disinformation than the rival social networks. Just assume that they all are doing that to a degree, whether on purpose or not. I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, but just know that that's a concern. And then finally, let me wrap up with this one. And this one is really concerning, actually, to me. In an article that was released back in September on the 22nd, there is a youth hacking ring at the center of cybercrime, a cybercrime spree. An online community known as the COM has been linked to a string of prominent breaches, radicalizing young people into a life of online crime. This includes some pretty significant Vegas data breaches that have been reported over the last few weeks. That young people are being part of this. We have heard from young people that have done this in the past, but let me just say, if you know somebody that is really good at computers, if you know somebody that's really good at cybersecurity, Encourage them. It doesn't have to be Murray State. It doesn't have to be our cybersecurity program, but encourage them to do something productive. There's ways I can help them get plugged into pretty cool competitions, pretty cool things that ultimately can help direct them in a positive manner and make a positive impact. I got bored when I was a youth with my first computer. I know that there's boredom out there. If you're not just playing video games, what are you doing through your computer? You want challenges, you want something to do. Let's make sure that we give them something positive. I appreciate your time. We went a little long today because I wanted to get that last story in before we did. I still missed one, but I want to make sure that I hit the one talking about the youth. If there's any questions that you have, anything that you want to learn more about, please reach out. Don't hesitate to do that. I'm always happy to answer any questions that you have. You can find me and my contact information on our screen that you will see here in a moment. Thank you for joining today. See you next week back here on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.